FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
That's a lead Barbie doll. Because in 2007, you may remember, Barbies got recalled for having too much lead in them. The Consumer Product Safety Improvement Act of 2008 was Congress's response. Obama supported this and has implemented it through regulations since he's become president. One of the central parts of this was requiring all toy makers to go get third-party testing for their products. This could be expensive. The head of the Toy Industry Association, which represents Mattel and Hasbro, said, "We were early proponents of adopting mandatory laws to require toy testing. This is the overhead smash. The regulations are much harder to handle if you're the guy who makes, chairs for 3-year-olds in your garage. It's not so hard if you're rolling off 1 million Barbies to test one of them." And guess what? The federal agency that regulates this granted an exemption to Mattel that they can actually use in-house testing because they met certain burdensome requirements that no other company has met as of yet. Another one, federal regulation of tobacco. In the Rose Garden, when Barack Obama signed this bill, said, "Today, despite decades of lobbying and advertising by the tobacco industry, we've passed a law to help protect the next generation of Americans." Meanwhile, at Altria.com, Altria Group supports enactment of tobacco industry regulation. "We have consistently advocated for federal regulation." Altria is the parent company of Philip Morris. Philip Morris is not just the biggest cigarette seller, it's a majority of the cigarette market as of their last quarterly report. It's a majority of the tobacco lobby in Washington measured by dollars spent. They've been supporting this going back to the late 90s. NPR said Altria and Philip Morris helped write this bill, which crushes their smaller competitors with regulatory costs, which could effectively outlaw advertising, which of course locks in place their huge market share. I mean, I'm going to end pretty soon to make time for Uwe and Ross, but climate change, you have the same deal going on. This is about big businesses lobbying to get rich and wearing some sort of reform sheen. Now, I'll say if you're a real lefty, if you're a Howard Dean, a Dennis Kucinich, a Bernie Sanders, you've got healthcare reform that doesn't benefit big business. There are ideas out there that they throw out. They've got climate change ideas that don't benefit big business, but these never become laws because of the inside game, because the lobbyists get a hold of it. Nike, they got applauded when they left the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce over climate change, because Nike, they care about the planet. They want to regulate greenhouse gases. Nike makes all of its shoes in Malaysia, Indonesia, and China, outside of the United States. Regulating greenhouse gases here don't add to their costs. Oh, but New Balance, one of their smaller competitors, who actually makes better running shoes, I'm told, they make their shoes in New England. They would be hit by these tax costs. So Nike's saying, we want you to tax our competitors' energy, and they're getting applauded for it. Alcoa is supporting climate change regulations here because aluminum frames on cars are lighter, and they're much more expensive. And when they make the aluminum frames, it's much more energy intensive, and the process of making aluminum necessarily gives off CO2. So is there a net gain or benefit as far as environment, CO2, for aluminum frame cars? We don't know, but we do know that down in Australia, Alcoa successfully lobbied to kill the climate change bill down there. So they make energy intensive stuff in Australia, want to be deregulated. They sell green technologies up here, and they want it to be regulated. General Electric has set up a business to make carbon offsets, which of course are useless products unless you're required by law to offset your carbon dioxide. So, and they're the #1 spender on lobbying over the last 10 years, and they're lobbying for these regulations. So they're lobbying to make you pay them for the energy that you're already paying for. This is the way regulation works.